stars in rows. TradeFly moves when the whole thing slows. Candle by candle, he reads the storm. One eye on the market, one on the swarm. He hit the bid like a clean skydive. Puts on the table, then he keeps it alive. Not luck, nah, he got that nerve. Every red day still curves his curve. Fuel in the veins, steel in the spine. He snags the weak and leaves no sign. Broker talk, he don't need none. He already know where the damage come from. Lock in, hands on the wheel. He hears that drift, he sees what's real. TradeFly cuts through the noise. One sharp move and the whole room voids. TradeFly, TradeFly,
Take the sky.
TradeFly, never blinks, never lies. TradeFly, TradeFly,
Watch him ride.
TradeFly, best in the game by design. TradeFly, TradeFly,
Hold that line.
TradeFly, tailwind sharp, all mine. TradeFly, TradeFly,
Burn through night.
TradeFly, trader and pilot built for flight.
He in the cockpit with the map and the plan. Numbers on the left, altitude in hand. If the base moves fast, he moves faster. He's the whole board like a flight disaster. He shorted the fear, went long on nerve. Took that hit, then he kept the curve. Enemy red, but the sky stayed blue. He banged through pressure like he always do. At the desk, he a ghost in the glow. At the front line, he a calm tornado. He don't chase, he arrive. Turned a bad setup to a perfect drive.
Lock in, no room for doubt. He cuts one lane and clears it out. TradeFly, hear that name. One clean strike and the wrist got tang. TradeFly,
TradeFly, take the sky.
TradeFly, never blinks, never lies. TradeFly,
TradeFly, watch him ride.
TradeFly, best in the game by design. TradeFly,
TradeFly, hold that line.
TradeFly, tailwind sharp, all mine. TradeFly,
TradeFly, burn through night.
TradeFly, trader and pilot built for flight. Radar on mute, mind on point. He don't fold when the pressure joint. One more push, one more run. Then he snaps that wing into the sun. TradeFly,
TradeFly, take the sky.
TradeFly, never blinks, never lies. TradeFly,
TradeFly, watch him ride.
TradeFly, best in the game by design. TradeFly,
TradeFly, hold that line.
TradeFly, tailwind sharp, all mine. TradeFly,
TradeFly, burn through night.
TradeFly, trader and pilot built for flight.
What is going on, fam? Welcome back to another episode. My name is TradeFly, bringing some of the most important market news as well as technical analysis that you can actually use. Hope everyone is doing well out there today. Say what's up to the homies in the chat real quick, and we are going to get this party started. We got my man Jesse Galuk in the house. What up to you, dude? Thank you for being here. We got J.R. Prince. How you doing, brother? Good to see you as well. Of course, go check him out. He's got his own channel, Discord, all that good stuff. Mark Dutch is in the house. What up to you, man? Hope all is well. He's one of the mods, so don't be playing around. Give you that boot. Hope everyone is doing well out there. We got DDT in the house. What up to you, man? Good to see you in the chat as well. And of course, he has got his own Discord, or not his Discord, but his he has got his own channel as well. So all these dudes in here showing support. Much love to you guys. These guys are bringing it every day. These dudes can really do some TA, so go check them out. All right, let's go over to the bubbles. Let's see what we got going on today. And BTW is up 20.2%. UB is up 16.8%. Lit is up 6.6%. ADA, let's go, up 6.2%. Let's see what's getting beat up, because you know I was about to say it. Beat is getting beat up 17.8% to the negative. CC down 12.4%. And mean core down 7.1%. Other than that, man, it's kind of a spread, few percent to the positive and the negative side, but it is good to see ADA finally coming to life. I know people are happy about that. All right, let's go over the total market cap sitting at 2.2 trillion. That is down 0.39%. Fear and greed index is at 38, which is fear. Bitcoin sitting at 64,332. That is down 0.57% over 24 hours. Ethereum is at 1902, and that is down 0.38% over the last 24 hours as well. Over the liquidation heat map, we do have some liquidity close to the price action. We got some sitting at about 65K, which makes a lot of sense right here. We have dipped our toes, though. We have begun to dip our toes in the liquidity, right? And so this this right here is actually important because not only did people get liquidated, but you also dipped your toes into some of the passive orders that were sitting on the book. So always look for that like confluence, that correlation, to see that those things are kind of, if they are starting to marry up, then there is, I would say, a statistical probability that you'll probably see a rejection out of that area for a multitude of reasons. Always go ahead. I mean, there's other things that are sitting there, value area high, yada yada yada, but it happens a lot. That's what I'll say. So that is a big reason why I do like to find liquidity sitting where is it actually sitting on the market. I really do believe that is what drives the market. Here nor there, 65K is an area you got to keep an eye on, and then 63.8. So those are going to be two spots for you to watch in the near term. All right, let's go over to the chart itself. Not much has changed. We've been sitting in this range for quite some time. Let's go ahead and go back here. We are June of 26 since we've been in this range. All right, so just up, down, left, right, all over the place. But our most recent price action has taken us up to the value area high at $65,000, and we have seen a bit of a little rejection there. We also were in an order block. You have maintained below the previous week high, as well as the quarterly pivot and the previous month high, all sitting above you right now. So kind of talked about it a little bit. All right, I was a little bit nervous of, I'll take short-term longs like intraday scalp trades, but I'm not really kind of flipping my bias, we'll say, until we get over 67K, right? For very obvious reasons, right? You can see where we've had the rejection here, but also if you look at some of this price action, right, it moved through the zone very quickly, all the way up to about 72K. So from 72K, steep drop very, very quickly, came up to the retest of about 67K. I think there's going to be a little bit of a freedom of movement, we'll say, right? Not a whole lot of volume sitting in that area, coming up and retesting the bottom of this little range before we saw that impulse move down to the downside. I think it would make a lot of sense, but we would have to see the price action come up, and for me, come down, retest, and then look for that move up, right? I think that is definitely on the table right now. It is definitely on the table. We would like to see our first signs of a change of character too. And let's get above here where we're at right now. We rejected, unfortunately, right about where we did not want to reject, which is the value area high, as well as really that kind of kept intact a lower high. All right, so what we would like to do, bounce or get a push above that zone, and then maybe we pogo in here somewhere before we ultimately make that breakthrough. Now, what would you look for? What would I look for if we get into this area? And again, I've said this is kind of a war zone. All right, so there's a lot going on, and I've been kind of singing this song for about a week now, being in that war zone. It's tough, right? So for me personally, if I'm looking for something, I'm probably looking for a scalp more so than anything that is significant that I'm going to stay in the market for any amount of time. I mean, intraday would be absolute maximum right now of where we're at. Now, if you're looking for a swing, again, you want to see that breakout, retest, continuation, and then if you start starting to work your way to the downside, right? If you get under the weekly, if you get under the POC, if you get under the moving average, if you get under the high volume node, bruh, I mean, I would almost guarantee if you get under this level here, and when I say this level, I'm talking about 63.8. All right, where your liquidity is, that's going to be a huge spot for me to like look at on the near term, the short term. Why? Because there might be an opportunity here either direction, right? And this is where you need to start being able to read the charts and kind of understand what's going on. What is the price action telling you? I mean, this right here, you could see a sweep of liquidity down here at 63.8, right? And then look for that move back to the upside. So that's on the table. And you know what? I don't know if I said what's up to Mark Dutch. I just want to make sure that I say what's up, man. I in my mind, I said what's up to everyone. I can't remember if I said what's up to you, but I'm just, what's up, dude? And then we got the Andy R. What up, man? And of course, we got Crypto Squid in the house and my dude B Team Crypto. Hey, yo. All right, hope all is well out there. All right, so back to what we were talking about here. So you got this high volume node, you got the POC, you got the weekly pivot, right? And you have liquidity. So this is where we start looking at price action. What is the price action telling us when we interact with these levels? It's going to be key to this, right? So if you see a nice wick down, takes the liquidity, reestablishes above all of this confluence right here, right? When I'm saying that, right around 63.8 or so, right? You have a lot of stuff lining up for you. If you reestablish above that zone, it's very likely that you push back to the upside. All right, at least in the near term. And maybe we go for that second retest of the value area high, and maybe that's what we need to finally get that momentum to go ahead and push up. Let's do a Fibonacci retracement from low to high here. That would put you somewhere around the 0.5 if you were to see that wick down. That's a reasonable area to see a wick down. I don't know if I would like it as much actually if it came down to the 618, because then at that point you're probably closing below the weekly and the POC. So if you're closing below that, that's where we say right? This is where we're not really as interested once you start getting those closes, or if you get an impulse move through. All right, so if you get an impulse move through, what is that big body candle? Usually it'll be, you know, like you see this pink one right here. That it's going to look something like that, right? Big body candle through the zone with a close below. Then you're looking for something quite the opposite, right? And this is how you can look at a very key level, and then you have the opportunity to trade it up or down, right? It's not me saying, hey, it's going to go up or down. It's me saying, if this happens, we look for this. If this happens, we look for that. Pretty simple, right? And the POC has been an absolute certified level. All right, just look at the price action around the POC right now. You can see, I mean, support, resist. I mean, it's done it all. It's done it all. Okay, it's been resistance, it's been support, it's flipped it, right? Not only was it resistance, it flipped it into support and multiple retests. And I think I remember talking about this on the last show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I remember like counting these specifically and be like, look, man, ascending level support into a horizontal. I remember saying it now. Now I remember it. Horizontal level of resistance with an ascending level of support. The probability is that it breaks to the upside. Especially when you had, I believe, we'd have to go back and look at it, but CVD and open interest kind of driving to the upside as well. Trifecta. I think I remember talking about that. Having the trifecta pushing into that probability is to break to the upside, but that's not the play, right? I think I may have given you guys a setup that was a breakout retest continuation play, if I remember correctly. I'd have to go back and look at that, but I believe that we talked about this right here. All right, this is what I'm talking about. There is your, we'll call it an ascending triangle, which it was at the time. You had that pressure just building to the upside, so this is the play right here, and then looking for that move up, right? That's the play right here, right there. That's the play. All right, so what would you be looking for? Like, this is where we bring in the order book and the order flow for me personally, right? I kind of start here. I look at these key levels. I figure out where the key levels are, and then I go here and I'm like, okay, what is the market saying? What is the market telling me? Well, the market is telling me yada, yada, yada. And, you know, by yada, I mean, let's talk about it. Open interest. Open interest is saying, hey, there's more market participation. So if you were to, let's say, get to this level here, right? And we might even be able to go back and look at it, but we get to where we're retesting this horizontal level. So what was resistance, we're retesting it now as support. And you look at this and you say, okay, there's more market participation. Let's just, we're going to cherry pick right now. Okay. We'll cherry pick. So let's say that we saw something like this. Actually, we might actually be, let's get the actual time frame there. Why wouldn't we? So 0.5 on August 5th. That's the 4 hour though, but that's okay. We'll 0.5. So back here, 0.5. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's it right there. So you start kind of looking at your open interest and your CVD. And what you would like to see, what you got a little bit right here. This is pretty cool. So, no, it wasn't actually a divergence. I will take that back. I got a little excited there. But what you did see off the retest is you saw a trend up in open interest and a trend up in CVD. Now that's post retest. So you would have had to let that retest happen to see this develop. All right. I don't want to cherry pick. I don't want to be like, oh, look, magic. You wouldn't have really been able to here. You would have had to let this develop a little bit. So you unless you're one of those guys that will take this next candle when you have an engulfing, like that's a bullish engulfing on the 5 minute, some people will jump on that. It really didn't develop, you know. I would have personally waited a second, right, just to see that the market had jumped in and kind of joined the party, right? Did they jump in and kind of, you know, agree with my bias? Okay, so what you would look for here, again, open interest going up, market participation, CVD saying that the longs are more aggressive, right? And that's just for this small subsection of price action. That's where you would be paying attention. Now, that being said, right, this is where you get concerned, because look at how prominent the passive orders are. This is just screaming like resistance, screaming resistance. Like that's pretty crazy, right? Look at the way it's stacked. I mean, that's pretty prominent, right? So we've dipped our toes in that. Now, what we were talking about, on top of knowing that we have passive orders, this is gonna provide resistance. All right, so you have passive orders sitting there, and you had a bunch of passive orders, a bunch of passive orders. You also had liquidations. So here you go on this one. Yes, you can see a continuation in CVD working its way up, but look what happens with the open interest. So what does that mean, right? You're getting that divergence between the open interest and the price action. Well, there's some nuances with open interest. And from kind of what I have determined, at least for me, the way I read it, is that a lot of times what you're going to see is that shorts are covering, or that people that are in longs are starting to exit their positions. And you'll start to see that open interest drop. Okay, and that's literally one of the first things that I look for when you start interacting with a level or a bunch of passive orders, is I look for that drop in open interest first. What turns it A+? And this is where it gets very nuanced, is that you would actually like to see open interest go up. Now again, this is A+. It doesn't have to be this way every time. You do need to understand that part of it. All right, so if you're just looking for open interest to go up every time, you're going to be very disappointed, because there's going to be a lot of times where price action just turns around and people continue, you know, there's less and less market participation. So again, nuanced, but the A+ would be that the open interest would continue up, or not continue up, but in this case, turn up. All right, so if you saw open interest turn up and then you saw CVD aggressively go down, that's A+ in my book, right? Because now the market is fitting the bias in terms of what our expectation was once we hit the passive orders here. All right, so liquidations, those occurred, right? We could see that on the heat map right here. So you got a liquidation event. That's good, right? That's one of the first things for me, is I want that liquidity. And in this case, I want those liquidations gone, right? That makes me feel a lot better. So you've dipped your toes in there. Really, you jumped in the pool on that one. And then you hit passive orders. Now, those two things alone, it would be enough for a lot of people, to be perfectly honest. Let's go back here. So we've transitioned a little bit. All right, we got that breakout, retest, continuation. But where we've ended up is right here by the value area high. So you've pushed yourself into an order block, and then you've gotten to the value area high. Right? A lot of people will trade the value area high. Me personally, I probably wouldn't have taken this trade. Point blank. I probably wouldn't have taken this trade. Why? Because I know that there is still a ton of liquidity or liquidations that may occur above this area. So this is one of those times of being like fully transparent and really being able to be honest with yourself, even though this was a beautiful rejection from the value area high, not something I would have taken personally. Again, and that's because I know that there's liquidity sitting over top of the value area high. What I would like to have seen is something that looks more like this right here, right? You get that wick above, takes the liquidity off the market, right? And then you see an aggressive move back down into the range. Aggressive move back down into the range in combination, if you were to see something like this, where open interest starts to shoot up, CBD would have started to move down in this case, right? Because we'd be looking at a short. That would be pretty much A+ for me. Passive orders getting filled, liquidations happen, and then open interest CBD moving basically in unison with my bias, right? That's what I would love to see. Small shout out to Bits of Wealth. He's in here. What up, man? Good to see you in the chat. Thank you for being here. I'm gonna hop on with Bits tomorrow. If you guys don't know about Bits, phenomenal TA. We closely align on a lot, especially when it comes to liquidity and trading around liquidity. He's good. So definitely check him out. We will be live tomorrow. I believe that is on Wolf Crypto or Wolf Bitcoin. They changed their name a couple times, but that'll be with the Wolf guys. I think on their channel. So I'll get you guys a link for that. But it should be good. Sony Black, what up to you? Hello. All sets in here. How you doing? Good to see you. Hope all is well with you. BTC Harptus, one of the best shows out there on X. Yeah, dude. It's good stuff. I love jumping on with those guys. They're all good. They're cool, man. They're good at TA, and then they're super cool also. Wolf Bitcoin 3 p.m. Eastern. There you go, man. There you go. I'll get you guys a link for that. I'll drop it in the Discord and on the X. But yeah. So for me, I posted this actually in the Discord today. If you guys aren't in the Discord, like I'll post free stuff in there. And that's exactly what I was looking for today. I was looking for this to happen right here. All right. Some people call it an SFP, swing failure pattern. There's all kinds of liquidity grabs. You'll hear sweep the low and go, right? It's pretty much all the same stuff, right? They're all kind of talking about the same thing. And that's really just coming up here, grabbing that liquidity, reestablish the range, and then work in the opposite direction. That's essentially what they're talking about. So, you got the rejection there, and now it's a game of coming back down to these levels, right? Testing these levels is kind of how we started the show, right? That would have been the play for me, from value area high down to the POC. Maybe even front run that a little bit just based on the moving averages. But at this point, now this is our new spot to watch, right? And we've kind of talked about it. We know that we have liquidity sitting at 63.8. I would love to see something that looks just like this. Nice wick down here below the weekly pivot, takes the liquidity, and then reestablishes the range. And then I would be looking for the move back up, probably retesting these levels, right? That would, again, I'm looking more, I'm telling you right now, it's more scalp, it's more intraday type stuff in the short term, because we have a very distinct range right now. And I would like to see us get out of that range and get rid of all the liquidity that's kind of sitting into the top and the bottom side of the range right now. And again, that's looking for something like that. That would be more enticing for me. Now, if we come up here, and we retest these levels, and I see weakness, and I see that the open interest and the CBD are aligning, maybe in the negative, right? Or if I see the open interest kind of shooting up and I see CBD kind of shooting down once we revisit these levels, yeah, I very much might think about a short as well. Once we get back up to, the quarterly pivot, previous month high, we have a lot of confluence up there, and there is liquidity up here as well. Now I've moved it to tighten it up just for the show so we can talk about it, but there's definitely liquidity up here as well, sitting around the previous month high. So, something to consider. Faux show. And again, this is tough. This is tough to jump into longs right now. For me personally, there's just a lot going on. So it's got to be quick, very quick, in, out, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am kind of stuff. And then really, you get a little more confident once you see a change of character. It was pretty close here, but not quite. And so if you get that, then you're starting to feel a little better. But at that point, you're almost all the way to the top of the range. So it's like, do I play this game, which I think is a little bit more risky, less probability? I want to see these kind of these little sweeps of liquidity with the inverse reaction or regression back to, you know, kind of the mean. You know, that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. And unfortunately, since what, the 21st, you're kind of looking at a series of lower highs, lower lows, right? That would show you that the trend is actually, you know, starting to turn negative, not so much positive. Now, I know there's been a lot of positive, you know, push right now because some of the altcoins are moving a little bit, Cardano being one of them. But that happens. And that's one of the things that you need to understand about Bitcoin and friends is that Bitcoin will move to the upside, which is kind of what you got. And once it consolidates or begins to range, you see what I call altcoin whack-a-mole. All right. And so you'll start to see the altcoins move different days, different times, and you'll see relatively big moves sometimes from some of these altcoins. And I call it whack-a-mole because people are always trying to catch those moves and they're bouncing all around. All right. Let's look at USDT dominance real quick. See what we got going on here. Crankby, he cracks me up with this, man. He calls it like the Diddy Bitty Tango. I know Gio's he's really big on dominance as well. But a couple things to take note of here, right? We've kind of talked about these two levels. This one, this purple box here, you got your previous week low, previous month low, right around 8.2 to 8.3. You know, I do think that does provide you some kind of interim support, but really, you know, this is what we would like to see. If it continues following this structure and we make that move back down to this high volume node, as well as where the liquidity is, and it's marked at least. I don't know how applicable that is to dominance, but this area for me is something I'm really going to be paying attention to. That area is about 7.4. Let's put a fib on that again. Seems to move kind of similar to price action, how applicable some of these concepts are. Yeah, and that puts you right in the platinum pocket as well, which is a big one for me. Like if you gave me a choice, if you're like, you can only use one fib, I'm taking the 0.786 all day, every day. So coming down to the 0.786 or just below, you know, there's definitely confluence there. And so how do you apply that, right? Understanding the inverse relationship between USDT dominance as well as Bitcoin. If it were to work its way down, you know, to the 0.786, Bitcoin go upsies. But once it gets to this level, that's when you start saying, okay, or where I start questioning whether I stay in the position or not, especially if I'm in a swing trade. Okay, so if I'm in a big swing and we get to the 0.786 or this area here, about 7.4 for dominance, then I'm thinking about exiting that position, or I'm thinking about taking a short, right? Just understanding the probabilities of like, hey man, we kind of seeing a pretty consistent trend in terms of the price action, right? We see the structure, and then, you know, respecting the structure. That's a big thing for me, is respecting the structure until it does something different. You know, you want to respect it. So again, that's going to be a key level for me. I don't think it's here, probably not even the next couple of days, but definitely a level for you guys to mark on your charts. And if you do get an interaction with that level, then, you know, I would highly, can't give you advice, suggest that you pay attention to that level. When is the bottom? He's coming out swinging, bro. All right, so I don't know. Let's get that out of the way. I don't think any of us really know. However, if you were to follow the 4-year cycle, let's go back a little. If you were to follow the 4-year cycle, we've pretty much seen 75% pullbacks the last two, right? So let's see here. Let's look at a fib. I think it's somewhere around the 0.786, if I remember correctly. No, you gotta take it from the low. That's right, bear market low. All right, so there you go. So this is something that I'm paying attention to. All right, and just understanding, generally we've seen 75% pullbacks on average. So knowing that, right, knowing that should occur from the high through about Q3, Q4 of this year. All right, that would align with the 4-year cycle. A lot can change, things can get weird around the world, but if you were to hang to the 4-year cycle, Q3, Q4 of this year. If you were to maintain the previous 2 cycles, which I think went down, like I said, about 75%, that's going to put you somewhere around $40,000 or so. Now, with the institutional investment, there you go. That's actually a little bit worse than that. 75% puts you around 32 or so. So, given institutional investment, given that there's big money coming in, I think retail's gotten a little shaken. That's kind of when big money comes in. Retail gets shook out. They start moving. They start pivoting. They start putting all their money in stocks while stocks are at an all-time high. And what happens? And there's a rotation. So the difference between last year, or not last year, but the last bear market and this one is that the NASDAQ kind of followed suit, right? Or I won't even say follow suit. There was a parallel. There was more of a parallel between the two, where the NASDAQ is completely diverged at this point. It's just gone up, up, and away. Bitcoin, not so much, right? There was a continuation of the NASDAQ while Bitcoin came down. The Bitcoin stayed with the 4-year cycle a little bit closer, right? Or kind of maintained the 4-year cycle. Now, there's definitely some arguments of like, hey, we're starting to go a little bit more horizontal. We're diverging a little bit from the previous 2 4-year cycles, right? In terms of, hey, we're only down, we'll measure it real quick so I'm not just spouting off random numbers. We're down 53%. And I think there's an argument that people are making right now is we should be down more. That's why you don't try to catch bottoms, right? So obviously, I would guess that you're kind of new in terms of watching me, not new as in trading, but new as in watching me. My plan is I've got 3 different levels. All right, so 3 different levels. I've been very transparent about it. I put it on X, I put it in the Discord. And what I'm doing is I'm laddering into a position. Understanding that, hey, we could go down to 40K. We could go lower, and that's fine. I don't know that I really care that much. And I would be less affected by any kind of institutional investment or big money that comes in aggressively to hold the market up. I would be pretty much unaffected by that too. Why? Because I got skin in the game. I got skin in the game now. So I made my first DCA point at 72. I made my next one at 58. And then I'm going to try to front run the 0.786. So I'm going to be around 40, probably about 44. That brings my my call spaces, that would bring my call spaces to somewhere around 58, right? Somewhere in that neighborhood, around $58,000. I'm very comfortable being at a call spaces of $58,000 and moving through the next cycle, because I fully anticipate that Q3, Q4 of this year that we do start seeing that turnaround based on the 4-year cycle. So that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. I mean, we'll see. I would say just kind of have a plan that, don't try to catch the bottom, be somewhere around that area and, get some skin in the game. Again, I can't tell you what to do. It's obviously not financial advice. You do your damn thing, but you see what I'm saying? That's kind of how I'm approaching it. It's a conservative way to get in. I think it's more of an investment than it is trying to catch the bottom, if that makes sense. Cool. All right. Will the Clarity Act get passed? I don't know, man. Again, I don't think it's not trending in that direction, but you never know, right? Things happen very quickly. That you don't expect. So I know that it's getting hung up right now. I know that I think that Congress is going to go on like a summer break or something. And a lot of times, if it doesn't get done by the time that they go on that break, probably not going to happen. But you see people like Brian Armstrong there in DC, I won't say lobbying, but he's there, right? So he's trying to make this happen. So we'll see. I will say that I don't have high hopes But at the same time, like, how much of this is really, how much is it really going to affect us? You know, that's kind of the big question. Like, how, if the Clarity Act gets passed, like, is that really going to affect us that hold Bitcoin? Like, truly? And I don't know. I feel like a lot of it's kind of already baked in. That's just my own personal opinion. You know, honestly, I wish they would just come through and be like, and just ban a bunch of the meme coins, right? Or at least make them go through something, some kind of process, vetting process, so that they're not rugging people left and right. But you know, that's my own opinion again. So good questions though, man. Appreciate you. Mark Dutch, thank you for gifting some memberships. Who got them? What? Mark, how in the hell? I ain't never seen that before. So Mark gave himself a membership. Well done, sir. Well done. I didn't even know you could do that. All right. And round 2, he tried to do it again. Let's see. B team. My man. My man got one. There you go. Dutchy's 2 for 2. That's right. The cream rises to the top, baby.
The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
And then we got Wick's wife in the house. What up to you, lady? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. All right. Cool. Let's look at Cardano. I had somebody ask me about that in Alex's Discord. So we'll take a look at Cardano, and then we'll keep this one kind of short today. Let's see. Our ADA. There we go. Cool. So we have talked a little bit about Cardano here recently, and it's starting to break out of its range. So that's your first good sign, right? Like, that's your thank the Lord, baby Jesus, if you have Cardano. So you do have a very clear horizontal. You see this kind of like gold box right there?
Of gold.
I couldn't help it. It was just there. One of the clearest horizontals that I've seen on a chart in a really, really long time. All right. What's up, username? Good to see you, man. Really clear. All right. Horizontal. And it's also your previous month high, as well as you have a very clear, you know, you got a lot of volume. You have order block. I mean, dude, it's all lining up there at about 23.6. What's likely to happen when you interact with that level the first time? I think you guys could figure that out. You're more likely to see a rejection from that level than a move through the zone, given all of the confluence that you have right there. So this is step 1, right? We're breaking out of the range. Let's go to the 4 hour. Take a better look at it. Oh, nice little impulse move. This is actually, we talked about this last show. We talked about this specifically. Getting an impulse move through the zone, right? And coming back down for that retest, and then looking for the continuation. That's on the table right now. Sitting above liquidity, sitting above, you even got a shift in structure. You're above the previous month high. You're above, dude, you're above everything. That's a really nice move that's on the table for Cardano right now. Sorry, ignore that one. But that's a really nice move that's on the table. Now, I'm already holding Cardano, so it's not something that I'm really looking at jumping on, but the potential is there. Let's take it from just the previous month high. I mean, you're looking at another 15%. And if you were to jump in and keep it under, man, you could keep it under the quarterly pivot, the previous month high, the moving average as that moves up, as price goes to the right, and still keep it 2-to-1, 5% drawdown for, you know, 14% gain. That's a nice little risk reward there, man. Now, again, it's not something I'm jumping on, so I want to be transparent there. I already got money in Cardano. I'm good. I'm chilling. But that being said, I mean, very nice structure to the upside. It looks bullish. It does look bullish. But I think they'll dump it on your face once it goes up to 22, 23 cents. Come back down, range. That's the highest probability, is that you go up and then you flirt around in here for a little bit. And then hopefully, if you're in Cardano and you want to see it go up, you get that move up and then kind of stair step. Right? That's what you want to see, right? Just like you saw right here. Just inverse. Right? Boom, coom. Go through, thumbs up, fakes everyone out. Boom. What is this? Do you guys remember what this is now? Let's talk about this real quick. For those that have been watching the show a little bit, talked about these. The big thing Geo talks about. I don't know at what point it's like not valid though. I would have to do a little research on that, but what you see, accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution. Right? So that's always the concern. Something I'm very cognizant of, because that plays out a lot. That is definitely something for you to keep an eye on. Everyone gets excited and the longs get trapped, and then it dumps lower than it was before. All right, Dutch is giving away more. Jesse got one too. Man, all the OGs are getting them today. Mark, thank you, dude. I really appreciate it. Much appreciate it. All right, let's see what Lie's username is telling today. Flew out to TradeFly's house. Lie. All right. Everything was cool at first. All right. Everything was cool. Couple of beers. That sounds like me. And TradeFly wanted to show his new tattoo. Oh, I don't have any new ones. It was a butterfly tramp stamp inside an eggplant. Nice. Nice, man. Yeah, I haven't had a new tattoo for probably 20 years, man, so. Right on. Let's see. November 9th, 2022 was low. 8 mil, top 4.2. Total market cap. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, theoretically, the market cap should continue to go up, right? It should still be kind of a progressive up and right. I know it's always going right, but you should see it trending to the upside, theoretically. Let's see, top 4.2. So are you trying to draw a correlation between the drawdown of the total market cap to kind of the price action now? I haven't really done that, so that could be something that, I don't know, something to take note of. Let me see, do I got total? I do have total. Let's look. Let's look, man. Why not? We got anything better to do with our lives than nerd out? Probably got a lot. Probably got a lot better to do. Let's see. I mean, it looks pretty similar to the price action, to be honest. Very similar to the price action. 75% down. Yeah, so it's the same as the price action. Bitcoin and total market cap pretty much in unison, in lockstep. You're at a 53%. This would put you, look, I already got some things labeled. But yeah, that would put you right there at about 75. So it looks pretty much the same as the price action. I don't know that there's a correlation. I just don't know if there's anything we can draw from it. Oh yeah, let's see what the actual number was though. You said 8, okay, that makes sense. And then, because we set a new high, right? So again, that's what I was kind of saying. The trend would kind of go up and right. You would probably look at like a channel, 75%. That puts you at about 1 trillion. 1 trillion market cap. If it pulls back 75%. Decent crypto. What up, man? How you doing? Thank you for being here. Much love. Oh, username's a trip, man. He's something different. I like having him in the chat though. Don't tell him I said so. All right. One more. We'll do ETH and then we'll get out of here. I feel like I've already said that. Yeah, man. ETH is... But in the near term, we do like ETH a little bit. We talked about this. In the near term, ETH will be acceptable. Yeah, it's already played out though. There you go. Came down, took the liquidity, and then all the way back up to the value area high. I feel like we talked about that on the last episode as well. So now you're getting to kind of like the top, right? Where you're finding some confluence. You got a high volume node, you got order block, you got buy side liquidity, and you got the value area high. So these is when I love this, you know, because I know somebody's probably sitting there, it's a bull flag. You got a 50% shot, just so you know. You got a 50% shot. This is why I like the order book, especially with Bitcoin. Because with this, one of the things that you would look at is open interest and CBD, right? Now this, again, that would pertain more to Bitcoin. So you're looking at that. Now, if you're sitting in here, you're waffling around, and you see, let's give you a pop quiz, fam. Pop quiz. You see CBD like that, and you see open interest like that. What's likely to happen? Let me know in the chat. Price up or price down? Just say up or down in the chat. I want to know. I want to know if you guys pay attention. Otherwise, I feel like I'm wasting my time. Jesse said east. Infinite Team TA, what up, man? Evening to you, brother. Hope all is well. We're doing a little bit of learning, man. We talked a little 4-year cycle stuff. Now we're just a little bit of learning. I'm going to bounce out of here, but you know, you see this price action right here, right? Everybody says it's the bull flag, but you see CBD going down, open interest going up. Which way is it more likely to break? What I argue is that the bull flag is irrelevant. The market is telling you, because nobody answered, the market is telling you that there is more market participation. All right, people are coming into the market. They're adding positions as you're sitting in this bull flag, this notorious bull flag that must break to the upside. Must. But the market's telling you not likely. So CBD, what if you have passive orders up here too that got filled? Let's say there's a ton of passive orders sitting right here, and those get filled. Right? But CBD going down, right? So that means that the shorts are more aggressive as there's more market participation. So more people are coming in with shorts. Is that bull flag more likely to break to the upside or downside? It's clearly the downside. That's why I don't like bull flags. Now that's given this scenario right here. I'm not saying that this particular bull flag is going to break to the downside. What I'm telling you is that if the market is yelling at you that, hey, the market is short Why would you want to take a long from a bull flag knowing that the market is screaming short? And that's why this is so important. I can't give you advice, but I will say do some research on the order flow and order book, right? Because this is going to give you a big hint on what the market is doing. This right here, these are passive orders. These are like, think about limit orders or, you know, positions that will be closed, whatever. Like this right here is passive. This right here, these two are market. So like you're getting both market and passive. You're getting both of that with the order flow. And I think that's really, really important. And come over to the DOM as you get a little bit more seasoned and start looking at that and saying, okay, cool. What's the delta between the bids and the asks? You know, what about sells and buys, right? And again, that's two different things, right? We're talking passive and then we're talking about market, right? So DOM is actually able to show you a little bit of both, right? But it's going to align with this, but the delta, right? That's the market that's going to tell you, okay, cool. We have at 64,240 a negative 17 delta, right? And that's not really big enough to move the market. But when you see bigger, like larger orders coming in, when it's starting to be like 200, 300, 400, I've seen some highs like 700, 800. You know, when that stuff comes rolling in, and then you see like a big just blob of the same color coming in, right? That's screaming at you, and that's something that like you're not going to be able to pull from TradingView. TradingView is not giving you that live, that real-time market data. I mean, it is giving you price action and it is giving you volume, and I believe now I can pull something. I believe it can pull open interest, but it's not, man, the way it's pulled, I don't know if it's like an aggregate or what it is, but it's not the same as pulling it from one of these terminals. So one of these terminals I think are very, very helpful. Again, I got links for those in the description, completely free, not selling anything. This one's Market Monkey Terminal. I do like that one. It just has an annoying pop-up if you use the free account. This is a free account. Look right here. See? Free. I'm not paying for this. And I don't really get anything. I mean, like, I'll get credit for you guys coming, but like I literally don't get anything if you go through my link. Nothing. Besides credit, which maybe at some point that can help me out later on in terms of negotiating some kind of affiliation. But as of right now, this is just to help you. Just to help you. What's the other one? I'll show you the other one real quick, which is open market. I'd say open market's probably visually more appealing and it works better on a phone, but they're kind of going in this direction of being like a pseudo poly market. And I would say now their interface is a little bit more janky. Now this one I do have an upgraded account, and that's actually thanks to you guys. Because you guys have used my links, they actually upgraded my account for free. So there's a benefit for me. But this is free. I mean, seeing the passive orders, the open interest, and the CVD, all free. The addition, you can actually do the volume bubbles as well, if I remember correctly. I think that's where it kind of caps out though. I think you can only do like 3 or 4 different indicators. And then the previous day high, daily open, all that stuff, that's an add-on. That's an extra. But yeah, man, the biggest thing, let's get rid of this. I think you should be able to it should look like this. Actually, VWAP may not be on there. There you go. This is what yours would look like free. Which is actually kind of clean, to be honest. All the other stuff is in my way. But I mean, passive orders, knowing the passive orders, that's big. Right? Look at, we came up in the passive orders and you saw a reversal. Because that right there, that's selling pressure. Cool. Gonna get CME live data on this. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I know like you can get like footprints and stuff like that. I'll look through the indicators real quick, man. Or you could join it. Like I said, it's free. Like you don't have to sign up, no credit cards, none of that. I got a link. Why don't you check it out? There you go. I'll put the referral in there for it. There you go. Oh, I think Jesse already posted it. There you go. Yeah, dude, go check it out. I'll scroll through the indicators for you real quick. So here you go. You got volume footprint, CVD, order book pressure. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in here, man. Let's see. For CME though. Yeah, so you do have CME. Would you ask about specifically? Let me see here. Yeah, I mean, there's futures in here. Depends on what you want. But that's all CME. So, they have Monkey Cipher. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. Kind of tough. Like, for me, like Market Cipher, like it's cool. Like it helps you with like identifying momentum. I think it's a good like momentum thing. Like when the price is kind of moving, I don't know that it necessarily is great for like reversals, unless you started to get that divergence before that interaction happens. But then that makes you nervous, right? Because having the momentum and your oscillator all kind of pointing to the upside as price action is approaching a level, especially if you're looking for like a resistance or a rejection, and you have that driving, that might scare you off. It might scare you off to get in a trade, but like I could see all that momentum pushing to the upside, and then I see something like passive orders sitting on the books, like, and I'm not going to give a shit what that oscillator's telling me. I could care less, right? Because I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at where the liquidity's sitting, right? Like, if I know this is sitting there, I've already identified that zone before I've even opened up TradingView. I'm already like, cool. Like, I'm looking at 65. I remember talking about that. I think I want to say on the last show as well. I was talking about 65K. But so I've identified an area that I'd be looking for a reversal already. Then I'm like, okay, cool. Let's see if there's any passive orders. Oh yeah, there's passive orders, 65, right there. So then I'm like, all right, cool. Like now we start looking at like open interest CVD. Like is that starting to fit? You know, is that screaming? I don't know why this CVD is just janky right now. Let me refresh it. There you go. Nah, it's still messed up. That's kind of weird. Oh, there you go. Cool. So the other thing that this will help you with is identifying absorption and exhaustion. Right? So I've actually watched this like real time. It's very, very interesting. If you have like a large passive order sitting on the book and price is kind of moving its way up, not too aggressive, right? Pushing its way up, and it hits that passive order. Like I've literally watched it just sit there and stagnate. Like right here, you kind of see that. Look at this. This is 5-minute chart, right? 5-minute chart. So take that in consideration. So you sat here for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes. 30 minutes. So 30 minutes you had to make a decision if you wanted to get into this. Now, what did we see happen in that 30 minutes? In that 30 minutes, we saw CVD trending to the downside. Now, what would have made this A plus? A plus for me is open interest actually would have trended to the upside, which we did not get. That does not mean I would not take this trade in this instance. All right, this does not mean that I would not take it. Again, it's very nuanced when you're talking about open interest, because if you are getting to the end of a trend or you are trending in a direction, it could be people exiting their long positions, right? And if they're exiting their long positions, you're actually going to see open interest go down, or covering shorts, right? Like that could happen. It doesn't mean that there needs to be more market participation necessarily. In a sense, it kind of is, but it's just showing you in the opposite direction. There's a huge nuance with open interest. Takes a while to kind of get the hang of it. This would not shake me out though in terms of looking at taking this. But again, none of that involved tangent. None of that involved an oscillator whatsoever. None of that involved even looking at TradingView. Now, what happens when you do look at TradingView? Well, when you do look at TradingView, what do you see? Let's go to... I have Market Cipher, Jesse. I'm good. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Actually, I have it though. Like I don't. My whole thing is I don't really need it. Like I have this Trend Reaper thing that I haven't even released to the public because do you guys really need it? Just another momentum-based oscillator. Now this uses things that I think are more applicable. I like Z-score a lot. So it's very heavily weighted with Z-score. Chart Prime uses a similar underlying, algorithm, or I guess code for their oscillators. At least it aligns pretty well, but you don't need it. Let's get rid of it and let's look at this. Let's talk about, you guys got me. Who got me stirred up? Somebody got me stirred up. And it was so simple. But looking at this, like, did you need an oscillator, right? Like, let me see. Do we have the fixed range on this one? I don't think we do. Let me go to, here we go. All right, cool. Got the fixed range volume profile on this one. So looking at this, right? This one, I kind of walked you through, like you could look at the liquidation heat map, you could look at where passive orders are, and you could have made a decision on getting in a trade without this, but now you have confluence, right? Like now you're looking at trading and you're like, oh, you got the value area high. And was it, I think this might have been the earlier one. Anyways, I think it was this one here, right? Because this was today. That might have been an earlier one. Regardless, you can build a better picture. You're getting to a prominent technical level, right? That's what we'll say. You're getting to a prominent technical level, value area high, in conjunction with passive orders, in conjunction with liquidation event, in conjunction with CVD trending down, open interest going horizontal in this case, right? So like there's a lot that's kind of lining up in that area, and I just don't like, let's do something. And I don't want to use anyone's proprietary stuff, but this is actually this. Let's be nerds here. Let's find a momentum based oscillator. Let's use mine. We'll use mine. And let's go to, let's find the time. Okay. So this happened at 13:20, August 5th. 13:20, August 5th. 13:20. Let's go 5 minutes. Curbstar, what up, homie? Good to see you in the chat, bro. Hope all is well with you. All right, 1320, right? Isn't that what we said? This doesn't seem to align. I'm guessing my time between the charts are different. It's got to be this one though, right? What is this? UTC -7. Okay. And what is this one? UTC -7. What was that? 65. Was it on the right day? Maybe that's the issue. Oh, not on the right day. That's August 6th, August 5th. Here we go. Here we go. Boom. All right. So here you go. This is showing you money flow, and essentially, like I said, it's heavily weighted on Z-score. Trending to the upside. Trending to the upside. What about this really tells you that we'd be looking for a short here? Like, let's be honest. Okay, you're looking at this. The only like small clue maybe was this flip. All right, when you go pink to white, and then you see a stochastic cross to the downside on the 5 minute. All right, so understand that too. Time frame does mean something, but you're still above the moving average. You're still maintaining your trend to the upside, right? Higher lows, higher highs. So what about this tells you reversal right here? Now I want you to be honest. Do you look at this and say, you know what? I think it's going to reverse here. I want to know how you would make that determination without knowing this. Now that's a freaking clue. And this, because that's also a massive clue. How does that tell you we're going to reverse? Because that right there, my friends, is 1320. You're still above. You're still, price action is still climbing. Liquid Diddy, you know it. Vegas Claw on the house. What up, man? Good to see you. So yeah, man, I mean, that's kind of a big thing. Like, these oscillators, right? They're great at showing you momentum. But one, they're an oscillator. So what does that mean inherently when you talk about an oscillator? There's a high and there's a low, right? So an oscillator can go up and then it can hit its head, and then it'll get this little like retrace and then go up and hit its head and hit its head and hit its head and hit its head, because it can't go past a certain level, right? So inherently, there's going to be a moment with some of the oscillators that just don't jive with what might be actually happening with the price action. And it's not a slight, it's not a like knock on them. I've just found understanding liquidity to be more useful in my trading. Right? Like Crypto Face, that dude knows his oscillator inside and out, and he's good with it. Like, he's really, really, really good with it. But you will see a lot of times it's momentum based trades, or trades that are trending in a direction and things are aligning. Like, a lot of it's, I mean, I could be off. I mean, because I don't really analyze each and every one of his trades, but like, it's a different trading style. And he's good at what he does. Very good at what he does. Love him. Good dude. It just doesn't work for me in the way that I like to trade. Right? And from, you know, I've done a lot of research, reading, studying. I've tried to get smart on this stuff. And the common theme throughout was no liquidity, or you are the liquidity. And another one said, my entry is your stop loss. And you're going to hear me say that a lot. And that changed so much for me. Like, conceptually, me actually taking a step back and like, let me go back. And this is why it's important to journal too, because you go back and you're like, phew, I had this level. And it ended up going in the direction that I thought it would go. Right? But I got stopped out. So let's talk about that. This is a great let's look at this right here. This is a good, like, kind of learning thing. So you have this level right here, right? Let's say that you've identified this area of support, this purple box. And I don't want you to incorporate this yet. Let's take it out. There you go. So here you go. You've identified this level of support, this horizontal level. All right, you're like, oh, damn, the money maker, right? It keeps hitting. Comes down, hit, win. Right? Or that one time you're like, it can't fail. Right? It can't. And you're like, all right, I'm going to jump in on this. And you put your entry here. And then you put your stop loss below whatever the lowest wick is here. All right, let's say you put your stop loss below that. You finally jump in because there's no way that this area of support can fail, right? But what's all down here? One, what's down here? Liquidity. Because every time people are getting into positions here, what's getting left behind? Stop losses, liquidation levels. That's all getting left behind. So if that's all getting left behind, there's an incentive to take the price down there and take that liquidity off the table. That's why people say sweep the low and go, right? Well, what they're really talking about, and some realize it, some don't. They just heard the term and they adopted it, and then they started saying it as part of their little, shtick. But they don't really, a lot of them don't really understand what's happening. And what's happening is a price action is coming down and it's taking that liquidity off the table. And then it goes the direction you thought it was going to go. So you were right, but you put your stop loss here, so you were wrong because you lost. So here you go. Then it comes down, it takes the liquidity, it stops you out, and it goes in the direction you thought it was going to go the whole time. And you're sitting here wondering what in the hell just happened. What just happened? This is why I wait for this. And again, you didn't need an oscillator for that. So, comes down, takes the liquidity off the table, goes in the direction you thought it was going to go. Why not wait for this? This is a great sign right here. Especially on the 5 minute. You come down, buying pressure comes in, the liquidity is gone, right? The incentive to drive the price further down is gone because liquidity is gone. You get a bullish engulfing, and then you go to open interest CVD and with the order book, order flow, start looking at that. And if that's now aligning with your narrative, send it. For me, right? That's my trigger. That's what I say. It's my trigger. Take the liquidity off the table. Step one. I guess step one is identify the liquidity. So identify the liquidity, get rid of the liquidity, and then we go looking for the next bit of liquidity. Right? Like, it's all for me, liquidity, liquidity, as Jesse says, liquidity. All right? It will touch you in all the wrong ways. Clip that. All right. I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully, you guys learned something. Hopefully, you guys have a great night. Much love to you guys. Thank you for tuning in. It is very, very appreciative. As always, like and subscribe. Help me grow. Help me educate. I feel like I'm giving you some value. I feel like I am. But maybe not. Maybe I'm just a doofus talking in a camera. Regardless, love you guys. Thank you for being here. Hope everyone has a great one. I'm out. As always, trade safe. Be safe. I'm out.
When you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.